Hey guys, so I'm trying to lose 10 pounds in 3 weeks, and this is the result from yesterday, day 4. This video I want to focus on putting what I'm doing into context because I'm a giant. I'm 6'6". I'm basically twice the size of my wife, who's 5'0". So when I say, I'm trying to lose 3 pounds per week, eating 1,700 calories per day, that might not track exactly what I'm doing. But to anybody with a smaller frame like my wife, where 1,700 calories is actually, just a normal diet. And the truth is, what I'm doing actually, relatively speaking to me and to my caloric needs, pretty fucking extreme. And as you'll see, when I compare what I'm doing to what my wife would have to do what I'm doing, that'll come clear. With all that context, then I want to go into what this has been doing to my hunger, and cravings and willpower. And with that context, flip around and offer some advice on how to cope with the temptations when your willpower is being sorely tested by dieting. The point of this whole experiment being, this twofold thing, trying to provide a more realistic expectation while simultaneously also demonstrating how you can lose weight at a reasonable rate without killing yourself. All right, hope that all makes sense. Now let's get into it. Again, this is going to be a long video. Think of everything that I want to cover. It's going to take a while. All right. 6'6" man, 3 pounds a week, over 3 pounds a week. That's over a 1,500 calorie deficit. 1,700 calories a day I'm eating. What does that actually mean to a normal person, somebody who isn't a giant like me? Well, using a total daily energy expenditure calculator, we can start to see. I've been using somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,500 calories a day. The equivalent of a very active energy level, heavy exercise. Considering my daily life, I am profoundly sedentary. That means I got to get pretty much all my activity through exercise. That takes 2 or 3 hours a day. I could cut it down to a 1-hour jog if I was more active the rest of the day, but I like sitting on my ass. So what are you going to do? But this is what I want to talk about here. Basal metabolic rate. That's actually a misnomer. That's actually the resting metabolic rate. We'll talk about that distinction in another video. The important thing is 1,700 calories a day is under that. Now let's use my wife to put those numbers into context. For her, 1,700 calories is just a normal day's eating with light exercise. But look at her basal metabolic rate. What I'm doing relative to her is the equivalent of her only eating 1,000, 1,100 calories a day. Which is to say, the type of calorie restriction that every responsible dietitian and fitness coach and weight loss coach will tell you absolutely do not go that low. That's what I'm doing. And compound that by doing, hours of cardio every day. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Like I say, I'm talking out both sides of my mouth with this challenge. I'm doing something irresponsible, but I'm doing it in a responsible way. I'll talk about that part later. The part I want to focus on is what my wife would have to do what I'm doing. Even if my wife was severely overweight, weighed as much as I did at 5'0", even if she was, in the literal technical definition, obese, for her to get that over 1,500 calorie deficit, to be able to lose 3 pounds per week, she would not only have to eat below her resting metabolic rate, she would also have to work out like an athlete. She would have to be more active than even I'm being. The vast majority of people who have a big body and prefer not to actually have a very small body. And if you have a very small body, something like 3 pounds a week is not a good positive, rate of weight loss. Oh, that's a good thing. There are medical conditions called low energy availability. And there's a medical condition called relative energy deficiency in sport. You might have heard the female athlete triad, where women, lose the ability to menstruate and wreck themselves metabolically. Eating less than that while doing that, that's how you get that. So let me switch gears a minute and say, why am I not afraid of doing this to myself? One is men are a little bit less biologically complex than women. I am not disassembling and reassembling a physical organ of my body every month. But the other reason, I talk about in my previous videos, I'm talking about in every video, I'm being very meticulous about my diet. So let me do that part of the video where I do my, what I eat in a day, what I ate in a day yesterday, and the nutritional breakdown of what that was. For breakfast, I had coffee, milk, and an egg. That started me off with some calories and some protein. After my morning exercise, I had more coffee and milk and also overnight oats with nuts and dried fruit. Did that look like 500 or 600 calories to you? Absolutely was. That also provided me, more protein, fats, Lunch was a yogurt and fruit bowl. It was a lot of volume of food for not a lot of calories, but packed full of nutrition. All these berries and stuff. Then before the party, filling meal. Mostly vegetables, a lot of broccoli. There's chicken in there, also some mashed potatoes. That's whole wheat bread that I made myself, another hard-boiled egg and milk. And that spread on there is Marmite. Australians know what they're talking about with Vegemite and Marmite. It's packed full of B vitamins. And here's the nutrition breakdown on that. You see, there's actually quite a lot of food. It was very filling. And you see that soda there? That's a lot of the reason why I was able to resist all the temptations, all the cookies. There's bun cake, there's onigiri, delicious wine and beer that I love. Because I went into that with full stomach that I was able to resist all those temptations. You see the nutrition that gave me. A decent amount of protein was in all that. Enough dietary fat was in all that. Carbohydrates were in all that, and a lot of complex carbohydrates. A lot of fiber. And you see, because it was all whole food, no added fat, no added sugar, I hit the RDA of everything. So I was only giving my body an opportunity to be hungry for one thing, energy. Now let's switch gears again. Even being as responsible about that, doing this irresponsible thing, let's look at what's been happening to my body. I have been not losing weight at a rate of 3 pounds per week. Just in these last 4 days, I've lost over 7 pounds. Now, in my previous video, I went into great detail about how that is water weight. As far as the dietary fat in my fat cells that I'm trying to lose, I should just be right on track. But the stress that has been putting on my body has been causing me to shed water like crazy. I have been losing over 1 pound of water a day for the last 4 days. And that has not been for want of drinking liquids. That has been from the stress that I've been putting on myself, trying to lose only 3 pounds per week at 6'6", at 210 pounds. With all that context, now let's talk a little bit about the irresponsibility of diet culture. How many of us went into this video thinking, oh, like 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds per week, that's reasonable, that's pretty good. I hope we have a clearer understanding of what you actually have to do in order to be able to do that, and what doing that will do to you. Particularly if you're not as meticulous and careful as I have been about my diet and about the intensity of my activity. Diet culture wants to kill you. And I'm not really exaggerating. Think back to like the Poster Child TV show, the poster child of diet culture, the show The Biggest Loser. If I was a contestant on The Biggest Loser and I reported 7-pound weight loss in 4 days, nobody would show concern. I would get cheers from the audience. I would get cheers from the personal trainers. I would get cheers from the producers. And how many times on that show did one of those poor people they convinced to be a contestant clock into their weight loss and only lose 1 pound? And everybody was disappointed and criticized them and thought of them as a failure for it. A failure for having a responsible and reasonable rate of weight loss. I hope now maybe you see how monstrous that show actually was. No wonder all those contestants gained all the weight back. No wonder. Not to be too hyperbolic, that was not a model for responsible weight loss, that show. That was a snuff film. All right, enough of the soapbox. So what am I gonna do about it? Well, I'm gonna stick with it. 3 weeks of rapid weight loss is not gonna kill me, I know that. Particularly doing it as responsibly as I'm doing it. But having said that, this degree of water loss is concerning me. A lot of people are afraid of a weight loss plateau. I need one. I need to have a weight loss plateau. This rate of loss is too much, it's too drastic. So stay tuned to see what happens. Today I'm gonna stick with the program as is. Saturday, I'm going to a restaurant. Because then Sunday, we're gonna compare an extreme diet with proper nutrition versus what people usually do. Eat the standard American diet, just less of it. So that'll be Sunday. Stay tuned for that. See you guys.